Arsenal have gone 4 games unbeaten and not even conceding a single goal. That is a huge feat. So interestingly, the unbeaten run for Arsenal continues. I mean, quite disappointing that they had to concede 2 against Sunderland. I'll revise my notes. But let's talk about Manchester United. 5 games so far, and it's looking pretty well for the Red Devils. It looks like they are beginning to pick. They have broken form. And I think the United fans are already excited. I heard one of them texted me this morning saying that if the Premier League returns next weekend, he's going to do a lot of business on his team. And once you know Phil Tatico, but he has corrected me, please. It is not Phil Tatico. You can say Phil the Tactician or Todd Bowley. If you see him, you understand why they call him Todd Bowley. And he is a stand Chelsea fan. Sleeps Chelsea. Drinks Chelsea. Do everything Chelsea. If you go to his room, it is blue everywhere. His room is like a Stamford Bridge. And Phil is here. Phil, your room is like Stamford Bridge.
My room is not like Stamford Bridge. My room is not like Stamford Bridge, but then you get the everything that you need to have if you go to Stamford Bridge, but it's not like Stamford Bridge.
I see. Well, we'll also be joined later by Emmanuel Donko. Brother Emmanuel Donko will be joining us. And also have the privilege of once again hearing the voice of experience, Nana Kwikwajiman, the veteran sports journalist. And let's just get into the conversation now because, I mean, we are far 22 minutes late as a result of the earlier program. But, I mean, don't worry. I mean, we'll discuss everything that I've just run you by. But it's a live show, very interactive as well. So you can send your messages to us via the number 054-432-1019. 054-432-1019. Or you can call us when it is 12:30 on the landline 030-39-56-641. I think it's again 030-39-56-641. And Phil, let's begin with the Super Clash. Because last weekend, the way you were fired up and you knew every line of the Phobian anthem, word for word. What would you say are disappointed that it didn't slide in your favor?
I wouldn't say I was disappointed or I am disappointed, but no, the point still remains. The team is on a rise. It's being handled by Didi Drummond right now. And we're seeing progress from the way they play. Right now, we're seeing a tiki-taka game in the midfield. And you see, they see a lot of the ball now as compared to last season where they played most of their games in the counter-attacks. They sat low, they had a low block system that they played with. This time, they are playing a normal 4-3-3, very open game, and they can beat you. They have a very good record, away record in the league this season. But then at home, they are struggling. And that has been the problem for Didi this season. I don't know whether it has to do with the fans or it has to do with the stadium. But they look like they struggle when they play at home. I wouldn't say that was the reason why they lost. But on the day, I think there were some few calls from... I wouldn't want to go talk about the referee that much, but I think it was it should have been a draw to me. It should have been a draw because it was balanced. It was, but I like, with the Hearts of Oak team, there are only few players that has played in this fixture in the Premier League, not in other competitions. In the Premier League, you mentioned Benjamin Asari, Osei Sibi, Hussein, and who else? There were about 4 players that started the match last week. Ransford Mensah, who's also played in the Super Clash before. So they had the experience. And when you see them, you could tell that they were a bit confident. They were not a bit. They were confident. They played very well. They understand what they had to do on the day. Their passing, their ball control was neat, was clean. But then it happens. With Kotoko, we know, even though they lost their prolific striker, they sold the player. We know when it comes to strikers, Kotoko has always been the better team, getting top strikers in their team for Ghanaian teams. When you compare the other teams, Kotoko has always fished out the best strikers in the league most of the time. You can even go to way back. It started when Opoku Efiri was there, Abdul Razak, the golden boy. They had play strikers like Wilberforce, Infum, Ahindria. I don't know if you guys remember Ahindria, Eric Bequin, Mbella. There are players that Mokwala was there, Kwame Poku is still there, but he's injured before Albert Amwa was sold. So they had, it was something that they had. Accra Hearts of Oak, on the other hand, has struggled to get quality strikers. The likes of Ishmaelado that they had in the past, they've not had any prolific striker since then. They've had a couple of strikers, but then, but a striker that could give them numbers, that could score a number of goals at the end of the season, they've not had it. But they've had good players. They played, but then when it comes to that striking role, I don't know who has handled the scouts for that striking department. Yes, because they've lacked that since Ishmaelado. They've had a number of Ablade Morgan was there, Prince Tego as well. They had a number of good strikers, but they've not had a prolific striker that could give them numbers and help the team. They've gotten a number of strikers, but not to that level. But when you look at Kotoko, they've always fished out, even gone outside the country to look for strikers for them. And this new guy, Donzo guy, a lot of people, even coming into this game, a lot of guys were saying, Kotoko would, after selling Abetamwa, they would struggle against Accra Hearts of Oak. And you could tell. Kotoko came in with a game plan. Zito, we know Zito. Zito would always play compact in a way, but then we'll find a way, spaces in and around the 18 just to find...
When we spoke about the game, I feel like Phil was singing a different tune, and today it feels like he's singing a different... Last week, Phil was...
It happened.
No. In fact, I'll make him sing because somebody just tested me.
He sang here when he was going to play against Liverpool.
Yeah.
The week after, he toned down. So we'll get there.
No, yeah, but Phil, you have some. There's a special request here for Phil. Somebody said he wants to hear.
You want to hear
the guy who sang the phobia anthem last week. He wants to know the lot, but he was inspired by his boldness.
Oh, me say, bro.
Arose. Be quiet and don't be silly. We are the famous Hearts of Oak.
Oh, yeah.
We never say die. Today, we are going to Swedro. And Swedro, they said their coach has to be sacked. Unless he beats Accra Hearts of Oak today.
Wow.
Yes. And we'll see how that would happen. Because Accra Hearts of Oak has gone away on four occasions. 1-3 and drawn 1. Today, Hearts is winning by not less than 3 goals. In Swedro.
Yes.
Prophetic. You heard the tactician.
Prophetic.
Anyway, that is just by the way, but you are still listening to the Weekend Sports Rally here on Z 101.9. Manuel, now you establish your point.
I mean, look, I feel like when we spoke about the game last week, honestly, if you listen to me, my overall feeling was that I thought Kotoko were slightly the better side coming into this game. They were in better form. They even though they were behind Hearts of Oak on the league log, it was because they had not played the same number of games. And I felt like, with even the absence of Albert Hamwa, they had still found players in Albert Jehu and the likes who were also stepping up to the plate. So I'm not gonna say the result was a surprise. I think unlike Phil, I don't think a draw. I mean, yeah, Hearts of Oak showed moments of brilliance. I love the football, but at the end of the day, you want to win the games, and that's what the goal. Bruh, it was an offside. It was. I mean, yeah, we don't have the benefits of a VAR and a replay and all that, but we've seen footages. We've seen footages, and if you see the footage, if you take off your Hearts of Oak, glasses, you would see that was a clear offside.
But you would also realize that in that video, the ball had been floated before it started in the air, where you saw the player being offside. It was not there when the video was taken.
I mean, I've seen
so
other footages.
Good. So you can say, we needed
player.
a VAR for that. That's why a lot of fans are complaining. Yeah, because they felt that it was a goal. But anyway,
we have VAR, these arguments are gonna keep. Even with VAR in the English league,
interestingly, there were some journalists who, right after the match, they debunked those rumors that it wasn't a goal. That the House of Oak player was in an offside position.
Yeah.
But after 2 or 3 days, some of those journalists have come to review.
Thank you.
Their position that look, and one person is my very good friend. I don't want to say his name, but there have been a lot of reviews.
Yeah.
But look.
Honestly, from what I have seen, I thought it was an offside.
Yeah. See, sometimes, and that is the problem we have. Sometimes, if you have so many angles, it gives you benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And say that this is the situation.
Yeah.
Because there was once I remember we were doing a commentary on one of the games, KGL. When they struck the ball, it hits one of the guys and then it entered. And in fact, all of us in commentary position said this was not penalty. But you know what? When we saw the other angle, they were like, nah, it is even far. It should be a penalty.
When you watch
that's it.
When you watch the replay, you realize that where the video started, the ball was already in the air. And the player was onside and moved out behind those two defenders when the ball was coming. The video wasn't from the time that the ball left the foot. That was it. That's the argument.
Well, that argument is still in the system. I think that people are entitled to their opinions, and but we'll get a finality to it. Maybe not now.
They're saying fortune favors the bold.
Yeah.
You make your own fortune. You make your own luck. I feel like if you want to win games, you have to go in them with the mentality that I'm not expecting favors from anybody. I'm not expecting luck, to be on my side. You just sometimes have to just go out of your way and do your very best to win the game on the day. And I think Kotoko did that. Hearts of Oak just fell short a bit in that department. And so personally, I think it was a fair result. Not by much, because it was just a 1-goal difference. I don't think the two teams were separated by much on the day, but I think the best team ultimately won for me. But I like to talk about the incidents that happened afterwards. I mean, that was very, very bad for our football. Hopefully, we've learned our lessons and we will not repeat them again. Yeah.
Very, very, very. Phil, you didn't get to touch on the incident. What do you make of it? I think it was absolutely.
A lot has been said, and it wouldn't be fair on our part to revisit that, because I think the police and other institutions are dealing with the issue. Let's allow them to do that.
As simple as a lawyer. No contempt. Well, that is just by the way. But let's move fast forward. I mean, I had the opportunity to watch Nigeria in the CAF World Cup playoffs, and I thought it was a very nice game from the Super Eagles, especially looking at how they held onto that particular 1-goal lead from UK until somewhere in the final death of full time, and then they considered it, and then you ask yourself, can Nigeria really progress? And look how they did it in sensation. In the added time. I think that it showed for the first time in that 30 minutes of extra time, we saw a different Nigeria. We saw a passionate Nigeria. We saw a Nigeria that had certain world-class players who were now ready to play for their nation. I mean, what do you make of it?
Yeah, it was a good game, especially for a neutral. If you're a Nigerian, you probably would not have enjoyed it as much as a neutral did, because there were moments in that game where Nigeria felt like they were not ready to take that step, to make it to the World Cup. They did not want it enough, because there are moments, Gabon had moments that they could have taken the lead just as easily as Nigeria did. I did not see any significant differences between the two sides in 90 minutes till maybe the extra time. So like you said, it was the extra time that we saw, the big boys. When Gabon equalized in that final minute, Osimhen had another opportunity to put Nigeria ahead and maybe kill the game before it traveled on to extra time, but he missed a glorious opportunity. It was a one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and then he squandered it. The conversations after interviews he did, he said he asked his teammates whether this game was going straight to penalties or extra time after he missed that great opportunity, and his teammates told him, no, we'll go to extra time. He's like, guys, I'm sorry, but I'll make it up. And so, yeah, that's what big boys do. You miss a glorious chance like that, a glorious opportunity to put your country in front in such a crucial game. And then you come in the extra time, and then you score 2 more goals, get your hat trick, and then you move on. That I thought was big boy stuff from Victor Osimhen and the Nigerian team. The stories before the game started about how they were boycotting training and they were talking about bonuses and stuff. It's probably something that affected the way they started the game, because they started quite slowly, like I mentioned. But as the game wore on, as the game traveled on, they gradually grew into the game. We finally saw the likes of Chukwueze, Ademola Lookman, Victor Osimhen, all the big boys stepping up. Personally, I thought Wilfred Ndidi, the captain of the side, was fantastic for me. He did a brilliant job. If you saw the third goal, I think he gave that final pass, the assist, and then also doing the defensive job for the side. I think they were brilliant. Gabon on the day, I mean, the equalizer itself was a deflection. It felt like a lucky goal for me. It was not. They didn't really. I expected a lot more fight from Gabon. I know, because it's been a very, very long time they had been to the World Cup. I thought they would want it more. I mean, Nigeria were there, I think, last time out, but Gabon did not seem to me like a side that had not been to the World Cup in years. So yeah, I think ultimately the Super Eagles of Nigeria deserve that victory, and I can't wait to see them against DR Congo, because I think, honestly, if I had to choose a side to face Nigeria in that playoff final, I would have chosen DR Congo. I don't think Cameroon have looked like a side that would have given Nigeria a run for their money. So yeah, I think DR Congo are the side to really test this Nigerian side.
Exciting stuff. But before I go to Phil, 4 messages here, let me quickly look at them. And Kwekuado, and he sent this one from Jugano, and then he says that I love the fact that Kotoko was able to beat Accra Folk, and I wouldn't have slept in my house if House of Folk had won that game. Wow, Kwekuado. Really? Wow. That is from Kwekuado. Then Faith Enjoy, he's a Nigerian, sending this one from Ajugan. He said that Super Eagles for life. Oh, wow. Something that will happen in Nigeria. Look, the Nigerians, if they had lost against Gabon, we all know what is capable of our Lagos or wherever, Port Harcourt or wherever it is. Charlie, in fact, even this one is not assured, but look at the way they were celebrating it. Even in the dressing room. So that tells you. So, Charlie, Faith Unjo, we really celebrate with you. We are hoping that Sunday, you are brothers, we disagree on a lot of things, but when it comes to football, I mean, this time around, we are supporting you. Then, Kofi Yesu from Impasem is saying that, bro, I see you, and I'm listening to you. Oh, thank you very much, Kofi Yesu. And Kofi Yesu, look, I don't want to go to the second part of the message, but Kofi Yesu, thank you for always listening to the Weekend Sports Rally on Z 101.9 FM. And also Ablade from Ajigano, he says that tell Tatisian feel that I'm enjoying his vibe this morning. Okay, so that's from Ablode. He's sending this one from Ajigano, and he says that he's enjoying Phil's vibe this morning. And that brings us to the next question that has to do with Phil. Phil, I mean, you've heard what Manuel has said. He says that he thinks the Cameroon or the Indomitable Lions have been dominated in recent fixtures, and they were not.
To be honest, and I thought they would even qualify during the league phase to top and qualify for the World Cup, other than coming to play the playoffs. So Nigeria would have to be very careful when it comes to DRC, and they know how to beat Nigeria.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Yeah, true.
I feel that Nigeria will be very uncomfortable facing DRC than Cameroon.
Yeah.
And they would have to do something extra.
I don't think they've ever beaten them. I think they've met twice before.
Yeah.
They've never beaten
Yeah. And
No, is it Nigeria and the DRC?
Yeah.
yeah.
No, the last time, the last outing at the AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire, we saw the DRC
Yeah, that's true.
face Nigeria,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah.
Nigerians, edged them.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But it was close.
But it was close. It
Yeah,
was close.
It was close. And you see, they have
Yeah.
the skill and
I remember it so well. I
they-
did a commentary on that particular game.
yes.
Yeah.
And they have that physical aspect of their game, and they play as a unit, especially coming, when it comes to Nigeria. I saw something from the game they played against Angola. They started very well. When he scored the goal, they wanted to hold on to that one goal lead till the very end, till that equalizer came. And then during the break, I think the trick was what was spoken on the sideline to the players, because they came out with a different energy, and that was what did a trick. With this DRC team, they know how to play Nigeria, and that is why I'm telling you that Nigeria would have to be they are very compact. You cannot pick one player out of the whole team. You cannot pick one player out of that team that you say that he's super outstanding or whatever. They play as a unit as well, and it is going to be tough. If Nigeria would have to win, they would have to do something extra, especially in their defense. Ndidi has been brilliant in midfield. He's supported the transition. He's given very, very important passes up front. But when it comes to games of this magnitude, they need players that would go back and forth to assist in the attack and defense. He's normally found in defense. And right now he doesn't have the legs, so he's mostly found in the heart of the defense. Going up front, they would need that support. They need somebody that would help out against this Congo team, because they are very solid. They are very physical, very solid. Victor.
Yeah, so that is it. But I think the last time Nigeria played the DRC was back in 2018. So I think that is an oversight. Yeah.
I remember I did my due diligence.
Yeah, but
There are two meetings. The first game ended in a draw, and then the second game was a loss, a 2-0 loss by DR Congo.
Yeah, but again, when you pick the last 3 or 4, 5 matches, and you compare, Nigeria do have the upper hand, because Nigeria had beaten the DRC. I think that was an AFCON qualifier or African Cup of Nations back in 2018. They won by a goal to nil. You also go to the same year, Nigeria beat the DRC. You talk about the third fixture, Nigeria equally beats them by 5 goals to 2, and then it changed in the subsequent years.
Yes, but coming to in recent years.
No, yeah, in recent years.
Yes, Congo has always been.
Oh yes, I mean,
if
if you look at the players they have,
yes,
just look at the players, Gael Kakuta and all these experienced players.
Exactly.
So definitely, I mean,
it is going to be a difficult game for Nigeria. We want them to win this game and try to be part of the World Cup. Else, it's going to be a disaster.
You want them to win?
Yes.
I see. Charlie, so, but do you think that with the games, what we've seen so far from Nigeria and even the DRC themselves, because look, the bigger tax lies ahead somewhere in March 2026, when they play the intercontinental playoffs, because they would have to face opponents from other continents. And with what they are giving us or what they are showing us in this playoff, do you think that they are really, really ready?
Let me tell you, the games on the continent are very different.
Yeah.
So you would have to deal with the games here before you go out there, because it's different out there. Here, it's mostly physical and skill, a little bit of skill, but then most of the time our games here on the continent, it's physical, very physical, rough. So the referees would have to use their discretion to control the game. That's how our games has been for all these years. If you could remember, there were times that skillful players, you see blood in their holes when they play, but then they use, because of passion, their passion and love for the game, they always would want to play their games. It's right now, it is still happening. The players are getting hit, and that's the reason why when players live outside or they grow up from other countries in Europe, and they do not really want to naturalize for the African countries here. It's basically because of the way our games has been. Very rough.
Very, very, very.
Very rough. No, you cannot. You cannot. You can just come and do what you can.
And Inaki Williams is a typical example.
Exactly.
He struggles here, gets back to Bilbao, and is scoring.
And you see, he gets the physical aspect of the game here. When he goes there, he performs very well. It's natural. So you deal with your issues here. When you go there, definitely your game will change. It would even improve when you go and meet the other countries on the other continents. Because apart from Africa, the another rough continent is the North America. North America, South America. Yes, that's another terrain that they also play fit. Theirs is even much worse. Yes. When you look at the games that involve Bolivia, Colombia, and the rest, especially when they are playing at home,
it's really.
I'm telling you,
it's really crazy.
So you deal with your issues on the continent. When you get there, you find a way to deal with that. But I believe whoever qualifies from this playoff will do just fine.
Okay. Do you agree to that session?
I mean, I like to think so, because you look at the way the format of the playoffs is ranked. If Nigeria do make it to the intercontinental playoffs, they would probably chances are that they will be the highest ranked team among the playoff contingents from those coming from CONCACAF and then the South American terrain. So, but chances are that if you are the highest ranked teams and you make the intercontinental playoffs, you don't play the first semi-final. You move on ahead and wait for the others to play, and then you just meet the winners of those ties. So the chances are that if Nigeria makes it, or any other African continent makes it, chances are that they will probably be the highest ranked team according to the FIFA ranking, and that will be very good for them. That means they won't have to play the semi-final. They just move on to play the final and then the other final. So I think that means it gives them a better chance of making it into the next round of this intercontinental playoff. But I like to think, like Phil said, the South Americans, you can't underestimate them. Their football is probably worse than the African one. South Americans they're like Charlie. They play really. I've seen the Uruguayans and the Colombians. Bruh, if you watch this, even Brazil. If you watch Brazil and Argentina, supposedly the most, flaring football type of nation. If those two meet up in the Copa America final, it is bloody. It is very, very bad. So
it is so critical.
Yeah. So I would not think any African team will underestimate, facing the likes of Bolivia or Venezuela, who qualified to make the playoff rounds for that side. So yeah, it will be a tough game because obviously they also want to make it. We have the likes of Suriname from CONCACAF. I don't know if you heard, but they're on the verge of qualifying for themselves. These countries are trying to make history because the expanded version. There are new countries there are new countries that are trying to make history for their countries, and whoever you come up against, that they are targeting some historic feat by trying to make that World Cup. So it won't be an easy game at all. Yeah,
it won't be an easy game, and that brings us to 11:52, and we are still talking about Nigeria's chances as far as the CAF 2026 World Cup playoffs are concerned, and how even the DRC themselves can upset the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I've also spoken about the Super Class, where Accra's folk sat at Accra Sports Stadium and were beaten by a goal to nil by Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Now let's move a leg further and let's talk about the Black Stars, because just 2 days ago, it wasn't the best of news for us in terms of the result. But again, you want to look at other facets of the game in terms of the quality of opposition that we are facing. And you also want to look at the kind of players that we have brought or the coach have handed call-ups to. I think that it is quite refreshing that we have most of our debutants starting in the Asian Tour friendly. And unfortunately, Abu Francis had to be taken off the field because of that crazy challenge he had with Tanaka, Eo Tanaka. And so, guys, let's get into it. I mean, what do you make of the friendlies? First of all, let's start with the call-up. Do you think that that was what you were expecting, the call-up? And do you think that there were better players who could have started the last 2 days against the Blue Samurais of Japan?
I mean, if you say the question is about whether there are better players, then we'll have to talk about the likes of the Hudson Odois and Nketiahs and all the names that we had could possibly be looking to switch their nationalities and play for the Black Stars. In that regard, you might probably say, there could be better prospects, better players out there for the Stars. But the issue as to whether or not those players would be welcome into the Black Stars or will be caught up again this is a very different matter. But with the players that did make it to the squad, I mean, we didn't. Let's talk about the Montreal FC striker Prince Oseo Owusu. He came in the latter stages of that game, so we didn't really get to see much of him. It was Prince Kwabena that we saw most of when he came on after Abu Francis was injured, and then we saw a lot more of him, the Victoria Pleasant striker, and I thought
that's Prince Edu.
Yeah, Prince Edu Kwabena. I thought Kwabena Edu. I thought he was. He showed me,
some
glimpses of what his game was about, and that I would say the standout thing for me was he had a lot of power, a lot of strength on the ball. Every time he received the ball, you could see that he enjoyed the tussle, the pushing and the shoving. He gives you more of a standalone nine kind of a vibe, because he enjoys the physical battle with defenders. That was what I saw from his cameo in that game. But apart from him, we didn't really see much of the. I think Derek Cohn started. We saw a little bit of Derek Cohn until he was substituted for Gideon Mensah. And generally, I would rate his outing in that game just a little bit above average. I didn't really see anything extraordinary from him, but hopefully it's just the first game, and maybe we should hold our horses till we see him again in the second game to really see what he's capable of. And then we can talk about Prince Owusu. Prince Owusu also made a cameo, and I was more interested in seeing Prince Owusu because when you look at his profile, he strikes you more as someone that can maybe be substituting Kudus and filling up for that number 10 role in the absence of Mohamed Kudus. And in this squad, Kudus was not around, so I was really hoping we could see him start in that Kudus role and maybe see if he can replicate the same things that Mohamed Kudus does. But he didn't start. Unfortunately, our manager Otuado decided to go with a more defensive midfield pair. We did not play a proper number 10 in that game from the beginning. Later on, Prince Owusu came on. And yeah, for the very few touches that he did, I think he was okay. I mean, I would have loved to see him for a longer period. The only person I can really say he started and we can maybe judge was probably the goalkeeper Joseph Annan, because Benjamin Asari came late, so he didn't start. So we saw Joseph Annan start that game, and people talk about that second goal where Ritsu Doan hit the ball to the very first ball, and it still somehow managed to beat the goalkeeper. Some say it was poor. The goalkeeper should have done better because it was the very first ball that the player shot that goal to. I think the technique and the quality from the shot was probably. It probably was not expected from anyone, including the defenders, because if you look at how he faked that ball, Mbappe does that a lot. Mbappe tries to fake the shot like as if he's playing the far wide, then he goes to your near post. I thought it was just great quality from the Japanese side, and it was a really expected result. I mean, Japan were going to beat us on any day, even if you had the likes of Partey and Kudus and Jordan Ayew and all those boys. I thought they were going to beat us. I mean, they were a better side. But ultimately, this was a good run because the last time we faced them, we lost by 4 goals. And this time, we've only lost by 2. So I guess there's a bit of an improvement in there from the number of goals we've conceded. But honestly, I didn't really enjoy the football from the Black Stars. It felt like we could not possess the ball at all a lot of the time. So maybe later on when we saw Calibri and Chi move into the midfield, that was when maybe our football progressed from the back and we could play a bit. But from the beginning, the longest we had possessed the ball from the start of the game was no longer than 1 minute. When we get the ball, we try playing, then we send it long, or we lose the ball to Japan. The press, we could not beat their press. We feel like we were missing someone like Partey in the midfield of our play, and that is a problem we have to fix, because if we are going to the World Cup, chances are that Partey could get injured. We can't solely rely on Partey to be doing that build-up play for us all the time. We need someone in the mode of Partey to be able to substitute Partey for games where he's not available, like he wasn't for us in Japan. And so, yeah, I think there's work to be done. I think we have to scout more and see the kind of profiles we could get our hands on, whether from our own Ghana Premier League. Because look, Prince Owusu, who plays in the Ghana Premier League, when he came on, he wasn't really bad. I thought it was great. He just didn't have a lot of time on that game. So we have players in the Ghana Premier League that could probably play, but if we are going to be scouting outside of Ghana, we should do that, because we need players that can substitute for all these key players. We need the Mohamed Kudus replacements. We need the Thomas Partey replacements, like-for-like players that could substitute for these players going into the World Cup. Yeah.
And even for Jordan,
yeah,
who seems to be on a certain trajectory in our last few games we've played so far. I mean, he looks to be the man who shows up most of the time when we really need someone going. Phil, what do you make from these Black Stars? I mean, you heard from Manuel, excellent submission from him. I like the fact that I don't want to dwell so much on the team for now, because, yes, this is a team that is a bit... I mean, they are all freshmen. Most of them are freshmen. They've not played together before. There's nothing like chemistry. And you would clearly understand that when you go through the Japanese team and you look at their profile and the clubs they play for. They play in Germany, they play for Feyenoord, they are playing for Mainz, they are playing for
Real Sociedad,
Charlie.
EPL.
Let me tell you something. In the first place, we needed to understand the reason for these friendlies. If we need to find out from Otuado if he really wanted replacements for the key players, that because right now we know about 18 players. He's starting his first 18 players for the Blacks.
Phil, sorry, I heard now Nana Jiman have joined us, but you continue. When you are done, then I'll switch over to him.
Yes.
But Nana, you're welcome. Yeah.
Like I said, right now we can we can mention about 18 players that we know that Otuado, when it comes to the World Cup, he is going to call.
Yeah.
So we should understand the reason for these friendlies. Why did he even call those players that came out to say that they are not? A lot of people are saying they faked injuries. What is his reason for calling them? Because we all know that he is looking for replacements. Because when it gets to the time, some of these boys wouldn't be at the World Cup because of injury. We all know that.
Yeah. And it's not something you can, it is unseeable.
Predict.
I mean, you cannot predict it.
You cannot predict, but you have to prepare for it.
Yeah, that is why we need double numbers in every key position.
That is the reason why I was asking myself why he had to call these players. Call Semenyo to be in there. Call Urenchi and the rest. These are boys that we know that would start their games for the Black Stars on any day. Ajete himself was there.
Yeah, but Phil, okay,
a lot would also say that they needed to make some of these boys for the new ones to then get that rhythm. But when you are going to play a team like Japan, he saw the call-up earlier before he named his squad. And we all know the quality of the Japanese team.
Yeah.
Binamino, the Suzuki, Kubo, we all know the quality of these players. He knows the system they play. And going into this game, he started off with the 3-4-2-1. It ended up as a 5-4-1 system, meaning he played as a low block, playing a low block against this Japanese side. Yes, we conceded 4 goals in their last outing against the same team, but then we needed to understand why we were going in for this competition or this friendlies.
Very, very key.
Very, very key, because just like we just saw when we lost one of the players, it could have been Kudus, it could have been Semenyo, it could have been anybody. It could have been anybody, yet we lost a player who could have made the World Cup.
No. So we lost a player to injury.
Exactly. We lost a player to injury. Yes. He will miss. He will
no. I just want to. If we say we lost, I want it to be It's to injury.
To injury, exactly. Yeah. So we need to understand certain things. Now, coming to the game, we know the quality of this Japanese side. Like we said, we expected this to happen because there's no understanding, especially in the midfield. Up until Yoichi came into the midfield, they were just going through our midfield. I would not blame anybody for mentioning the name of our goalkeeper. The goal he conceded, I would not blame him. A lot has gone on.
Yeah.
And even in our defense, the shape, I did not see us play very well against this Japanese side. And if this is the team that we are presenting to the world, it will take time for these guys to understand themselves, get together. They are not a bad side, but this is the first time they are playing together. It will take time.
No, and you see, it has been proven time with that numbers that the teams that do what at tournaments are teams that have played together for a long time. Are teams that there's that cohesion. Like, you understand, you cannot just assemble anybody to go and play, no matter, even if it's Messi. Look, even that Messi team that won the 2022 World Cup, you have seen the consistency of most of the players.
Messi has been
They just brought in one or two.
Messi has been in there for over 10 years.
Di Maria,
before
Lazaro Martinez, all these boys, they grew up playing together.
Yes.
You know.
So that's the thing. If you really want to do something or achieve something with a team, you need to have the boys to play together. They need to understand. The coach will come up with a system. He will give instructions. But then on the pitch, the players, they do understand themselves. They talk to each other. Yeni say, Minyabola Johnny, I want to see you up there. He knows how certain players would want to get the ball with their back to the pole. Others would want to float the ball in front of or behind the defenders for them to rush in on the ball to score. These things, it's not the coach that will tell you. It's the understanding of the boys on the pitch. They will talk to each other and agree on how they want the ball or how they have the movement, how they need that things done on the pitch.
Yeah.
So and those things, it needs time. You would have to play certain players for a number of times before they can understand, oh, this is the players you can have about right 2 or 3 right wingers and 2 or 3 left wingers. And then they would all have to communicate with the midfielders on how they all want you to pass the ball to them. This is not taught by the coach.
Yeah, and this is not club football.
This is not club football.
Because they are not going to be seeing each other regularly.
The work of the midfielders, you have no idea. And especially wing backs and midfielders. It's very diverse. And you need players that do understand what you want to do. Then they would also, players do advise coaches as well.
Yeah.
Yes, they tell them, oh, this is how you want it, but we feel that this is how we can play and it will be easy for all of us. And then probably the coach will come in with a word or two and I agree on something. That is how it's done. So me, to be honest with you, I did not watch the match because I know the team would need time. I had to watch the full match after the game. And I feel that a lot is expected of this team. This very team would have to play much more to get... Right now, if you call Semenyo, you call Kudus, you call, let's say, Partey, when they come together right now, the way they will play would be much better than the players that played against Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Because they do understand themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, they know what to do. So it will take time.
Yeah.
But then what I want to know is why he called certain players that we already know, we know their quality. If you really want to get replacements for certain key areas or departments of the team, you have to call new players. We have local boys that are doing well in the league. Very good players.
But don't you also think that looking at the team you're going to play, a whole Japan, who have assembled their best, this is a team that have already qualified for the World Cup. Now, the other argument, which brings in the argument that, look, some connoisseurs feel that it was a bad decision on the coach to use debutants in this particular match, because if you are talking about consistency, if you are talking about the team being thick, this was a perfect opportunity to play a team like Japan, who is likely to present about 99% of this same squad when the North American World Cup comes calling. And also tied to the fact that we are yet to know our opponent. Who knows? Japan can be our opponent. And it means that these players have already tested them. Because look, you can agree that this is a team we have played in the past. They scored us 4 goals and the rest. But this is, look, football is about time. It's about time. This is a different period. A lot of things have changed psychologically for some of the players. Look, if a new team that have been assembled is able to just concede 2, it also means that there's that probability that if we had assembled our best players, we could have also managed to win the game. These are all assumptions.
But
anyway,
that's why from the beginning I mentioned that what's the reason for this this time around, the call up, the friendly for the call up for these friendlies, because he saw
most of them said they were injured. So once a player is injured,
of course, but it's also a lot of people are saying but because when we needed them the most, they were available. And they qualified us. They made sure they qualified us to the World Cup. This is just friendlies. So nobody should even talk about that. If they say they are injured. The fact still remains that we need to find out the reason for this friendlies.
I think that we would have to get to the...
Because, yes, this Japanese side, remember they beat Brazil recently. This same team. And this same team, we used these young boys, these new boys, and we lost by 2-0. And it wasn't that I believe we were much defensive. If we had played on the attack or we had better players to control the game much better, I believe we would have scored. Because to me, they don't look overly dangerous.
Yeah.
We can beat this Japan side. And for that, with our main team not being present and we're able to get 2 goals, they beat us by 2 goals, and we did that with in these circumstances. I believe when we meet them in the same group, we should be able to beat them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, time to bring in Nana Kwekwajiman, who is on Zoom. Nana, exciting to hear from you once again on the Weekend Sports Rally here on Z 101.9 FM. But we are discussing a weightier issue that has to do with the Black Stars of Ghana, their Asian tour. I mean, you have been an ardent follower of the Black Stars for over decades now, and and you're also a coach as well. Most of these guys are your friends. I mean, what do you make of the friendly you saw on Thursday?
Well, I think it was okay. You can't expect anything more than what you got. You know, what was in the can, the label said it quite clearly. But I want to, because, you know, Phil asked a number of questions and Phil made a number of suggestions based on certain assumptions. And I want to say this because Phil said we needed time, and he's right. But the problem is we don't have any time. So I just want to knock that on the head. Now, I want to cut into this thing on a different level, because I always talk about structure, because structure leads to consistency, and consistency leads to results. Now, look, I can remember some years back, we had the Black Stars B team, and the reason why I'm going to go back to there is because there's no point saying, oh, we've got a good player in Ediana Stars, we've got a good player in this club, we've got a good player in that club, because that is not the way that you make structured progression. You have the Ghana Black Stars. Now, the Ghana Black Stars was supposed to be a substitute for the senior national team, the Ghana Black Stars. True or false?
Absolutely correct.
Right. Now, that is the breeding ground. That is by and large the team that succeeds up to the senior national team. Of course, we have the under 20 and we have the under 23. It doesn't do anything. There's a coach there, blah, blah. Nothing's happening. Yeah. But basically, it's supposed to follow these steps of succession, because the trend that we're following right now, no local player will be called. And for me, the only reason why you've got those 2 Mediama players in there, even though they're good, is because of Mose Packer. Suppose Mose Packer wasn't the boss of that place. Do you think they would get a shout? You see? And this is what I'm saying, that, you know, the lens that we're looking through is too dark. We can't see the wood for the trees, because we should be selecting those players from the Black Galaxies, because that's what they're called now. But the Black Galaxies are inoperative. It's not functioning. Nothing is happening. Just as with the other under whatever national teams. And this is the main problem. And so the trend now is, even for the second Ghana Black Stars team, is to go out into Europe or wherever else in the world and pick players from those teams and bring them together to now form the Ghana Black Stars B team. Because that is what that was yesterday. It was the Ghana Black Stars B team. You had 7 players out, you called 4 players in, they started, and you had a bunch of other players as well. That's the B team. But look at how it was selected, so randomly. No criteria. You know, I mean, it's sad. And I take it back to that, because if you don't have structure, you won't have consistency, you won't have development, you won't make progression. And so we just threw anybody together and played that game, knowing that we've got one more game to play against South Korea, and the next time the Black Stars will be assembled will be next year, because we're not going to play in the African Cup of Nations, because we blew that one. But because there is no structure, we don't even know what we're going to do for the second team. We don't know. We don't know. And if Partey and Kudus and Jordan say that or have injuries and they can't play, we're lost. We're lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because we don't have any structure. We're not looking at the game properly. Do you understand? Yeah, we don't view football properly in the way that we should. There's no long-term player development plan for any player. We've had look, the Chan and the Waffle, these were all tournaments that were created for local players to help them climb up that ladder into the senior national team. We won the Waffle a couple of times, once or twice, whatever. I think we won Chan as well, and stuff like that. But what happened to all those players? Where are they?
And sorry to cut you, Nana. But we've seen the other countries. We've seen the likes of Senegal. We've seen the likes of Nigeria, who are making good use of this platform, especially the under 17 level, the under 20, the CHAN, and all of that. You get to see 2 or 3 or 4 of their players who have participated in those younger competitions rolled into the senior national team. And look, and it's bearing fruit. Even with the Black Stars, we saw the generation of the Stephen Appiah, the ACN. They came from a certain under 17 into under 20, all the way into the senior national team. That was how come we were able to see the chemistry in 2006 World Cup. Saw that
leagues, whether in Europe or locally, we have a quota for local players, whether we like it or not, whether they are good or not. We have to put 3 players in the team just so they can get that FIFA club participants money. We call these players. But that haven't been established yet, because I mean, we look. Oh, there are gonna be 3 players caught up to the Black Stars. The sports minister was asked about the Ghana's government spokesperson was asked about it, and we're like, yeah, let's call up local players just for the money that we'll get from FIFA. It's something we're gonna do, and we will do it. We did it last time. We called up these players because just so their club teams, because the clubs need the money too. Yeah, that is a fact. See, but look, that when the motive behind the calling of the squad becomes that, the club needs money, instead of, I need these qualities, I need these profiles in my team because I think it makes the whole team better going into the tournament, then you're getting it wrong.
And let me go back to Zoom, because Nana is back now. Nana, I mean, I was asking a very salient question, that you think that our football people have failed us structure-wise, because these are issues we keep on hammering anytime Blasters assemble, that this player should have been this. And you have been in the corridors of power in terms of football, where you have been there, talk to some of the influential people. Doesn't these basic issues come up, what a layman even on the street sees? I mean, the people who say they drink and eat football, why is it that they are not recognizing that these are the basic ways to fix simple stuff with the senior national teams?
Well, I mean, they call themselves football people, but anyone can call themselves anything, can't they?
That's a straight bomb.
Yeah, but they can. Look, you've got to look at it this way. We've had a GFA that has been to South Africa to learn how the Premiership works there. We've been to the UK, or had people from the UK come about the Premiership. We've studied how things are done in Germany, but we've not changed anything. We haven't changed a single thing. We've gone to those places and what have you, had a slap-up time in top-class hotels and eaten top-class food in big restaurants, and we've come back with an empty head.
And take big selfies for social media.
Yeah, and we haven't been able to implement anything. But this is long-term planning, because, look, even if Jordan and all those were there, we would still have lost the game. Look, Japan played that game pedestrian-like. Let me tell you, if you don't know how Japan play, they are very, very swift, 24/7. They don't stop running. They don't stop moving into spaces so they can receive the next pass. They played pedestrian yesterday. They were strolling, let me tell you. They were strolling. And if our boys were there, they would have stepped up the pace a little bit more, and they would still have defeated us. Let's not beat about the bush. We're not as good as Japan. What's their standing in the FIFA rankings? It will tell you. We're not up to their standards. But anyway, look, we don't have the benefit of playing together again after Sunday. until March or something like that. Dire circumstances. Because when you don't have a structure to guide you, the decisions you now make are subjective. They're not objective, they're subjective. You may get one or two of those decisions right, and it works at the end of the day, but by and large, the probability or the possibility of getting the vast majority incorrect is very high. Is very high. If there's nothing to guide you, because look, you see, I watched on TV3 and Agustin Ainfa was talking about the DNA, and I've spoken about the DNA on your programs on many occasions. You see, if you have a DNA, which is a way how we play, irrespective of what the formation is, because the DNA doesn't have to change because you're playing a 3-4-3 or a 5-4-1 or a 4-4-2. It doesn't have to change. The DNA remains the same. It's like the blood in your body.
Absolutely.
It stays the same, right? But because there's no DNA, which is because there is no structure or anything, everything we're doing is subjective. Everything we're doing. 100% subjective. We're guessing.
And that is worrying.
We are guessing. But it's not worrying anymore because we've been guessing for 20 goddamn years. How long have we? How long since we won the African Cup of Nations? 45 years. Do you know that 4 generations have never seen the Ghana Black Stars have a trophy? 4 generations. They've never ever witnessed that at all. Right? Now that's damning. And that's because we're unable to plan long term. We're unable to set long-term targets and objectives and work towards them. Because right now we have shown you that if certain players who, okay, they're classified as key players, I would dispute it. If they're not there, then we don't have a team. That's what we've just seen. We don't have a team. You see, and we should have been using the likes of Brandon Asante much, much earlier.
Absolutely.
Not now because he's scoring some goals in Coventry. We should have been using him earlier. Because look, you guys, I don't know what it takes for you guys to face some reality. Jordan is not a striker. He's a good player. He's a superb captain. I like the way he moves. He's not a striker. In the past 5 years, he hasn't scored 25 goals in the Premiership. You can look it up yourself. He's not a striker. Semenyo, he's not a striker. Inaki Williams, they are not strikers. You need somebody, at least 2 people, you give a number 9 jersey to, and they play within the perimeters of the 18-yard box. They don't go outside of that, so they end up on the flanks. They only run within those perimeters. You give them the ball, they beat one man, they shift one man, they put it in the back of the net.
Somebody like that, at Samajan, we've seen the Victor Osimhen. I mean, look, and you see, the disappointing stuff is that we create so many chances, yet we find the back on just, sometimes we don't even find the back of the net on few occasions. Even those ones are from players, extra. You understand?
The last time our number 9s actually scored goals for us.
Very, very bad. So, Nana, I think very, very brilliant points. I mean, Nana, somebody's even asking, when was the last time you even had a number 9? That is your good friend.
Oh, Phil. I don't know. Well, Jordan wears the number 9, but he's definitely not the number 9. You know, what do we call it? He's definitely the false 9. You know, because he's not a number 9. But, you know, there's a lot of work to do. And I like the spirit of the boys that were out there. It's good. But we must take a more structured approach to selecting them. We must get the Black Galaxies back on track, because that is where that is supposed to feed into the senior national team. If we don't do that, all we're now perpetually going to do is take players outside of Ghana. That's all we're looking to do right now, because we don't know how to develop what we have inside Ghana. That's the problem. And for those of us who do, people don't want to listen. You know, they think we might encroach on their chop money. You know, but they're the ones who say they're football people. But I dispute that. There's lots of football people outside of the GFA who they should be tapping their knowledge. And those people would be more than willing to assist them, like myself. You know, because...
absolutely. You know, because look, growing up, you were one of the you're one of the few people we listen to, and we get motivated that you are listening to a football person speak. But I mean, I don't know what happened. And you know, most of them come into the system, I mean, the right way. But when it gets into those positions, it looks like I don't know whether they baptize them or they immerse them. I don't know the word to use.
Well, they know what to do to get in those positions. It's just like parliamentarians, just like politicians when they're standing for election. They know what to do. They know what to say to bamboozle us, and we say, yeah, okay, we'll support you, go along. They get in there, and we find they went in there with a shovel and a pickaxe, and now, you know, they're gold digging. So that's the problem. They're prospecting, and then what needs to be done in terms of developing the structure, etc., falls by the wayside. Because you've got Chan, you've got Waffle. These are competitions that will help to develop our local players who we select together for the Ghana Black Stars, but we're not interested. We're not interested.
And
quick fixes, and there's no quick fix to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, still on the Black Stars, we've had. Let's now go into the 2026 budget a bit. Let's spend just some 10 minutes on it and turn over to Europe. Now, we've had the minister spoken incisively about the sports sector. He says that the Black Stars were going to be given 150 million Ghana cedi for their World Cup campaign in USA, Canada, Mexico. He also allocated 200 million Ghana cedi for the construction of the 3 stadia in those regions. And also, do you think that the sports sector was given enough attention in the recent budgets? I mean, let's do this one 3 minutes and then Phil and the rest then we'll turn to you. What's your view of the budgets?
You're speaking to me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'm not that much concerned about the budget per se. I'm just concerned about the political inferences to it all, because the whole thing is shaded in politics, and it shouldn't. No politician and no government or any political party should expect to get credits from the performance of footballers or other athletes or what have you. What you are providing and the investment that you're making is standard. It's something that you must do. It's not something that we start hailing you as whatever. And you see, because they have forgotten that, then they all look to glean some form of credibility and build a big reputation based on what happens, when they've already failed us a long time ago. Because we've had the NBC in before, nothing was done. And we had the MPP come in, nothing was done. Now we're talking about these stadiums. I'm warning the minister to be very careful, because when it comes into these stadiums and procurement and all these kinds of things, there's a lot of temptation there. He should be very careful that he doesn't fall into the pit that the former sports minister is in right now. I forgot his name, the Muslim brother.
Oh, you mean Mustafa?
Yes.
Mustafa Yusuf.
Mustafa Yusuf.
Yeah.
He should be very, very careful, because the exposure to those monies are a slippery slope. And then at the end of the day, the stadium too isn't done properly, etc. He should make reference back to the All African Games, because you will see people will go to jail for that. People will go to jail, so you must be careful.
It's a creeping attitude, and we're following those developments.
Yeah, so I think there were lots of things that were said in the budget that have not been highlighted. The main thing is the stadium, and the money for the Ghana Black Stars. Okay, we'll give them the money. They've told us. Obviously, we want to see what it's going to be spent on, and then we can see whether or not there's any wisdom in that or not. But we've got a long way, because even the institution isn't set up with clear enough guidelines and objectives as to how it should proceed. And that's why the sports minister is involved in what snacks the players are going to take, what the flight, booking this, and all types of trivia, when really the sports minister is supposed to give the overall guideline, provide the overall objective, and be working towards that in a national framework and not be nitpicking about
million. 150,000 we are giving to the Black Stars, and then the 200 we are using to build the stadia. That all in that is seems to be less than the 65 million budget that we got last time out from the 2025 fiscal year. And but yeah, I mean, look, more stadia is definitely good news for us, because our stadia has not been great, right?
So Nana is on, but Nana, I'll get back to you. Let Manuel establish his point, and then I'll get back to you.
Yeah, so definitely more stadia is good for us. Infrastructure is not something that sporting infrastructure is not something a subject we thrive at as a country. We lack a lot of them, and so definitely more stadia, more infrastructure is good. But then again, when you speak about infrastructure in Ghana, you can't do that without talking about maintenance culture and maintaining this, new stadiums. Because if you are going to be building stadiums and watch them fade away and spoil, like the Isipons and the Tamales, then did you go or did you come? What are you doing as a nation? So yeah, these issues have to be looked at extensively. If we are spending money on these things, we have to make sure that they last and their quality, infrastructure that would be there and benefit us for a very, very long time. Not like what we have now, where we can't call on the Isipon Stadium anymore. We can't call on the Tamale Stadium anymore.
Cape Coast
Stadium. If we keep doing that, then we are just not serious as a country, and we don't learn. Basically, we don't learn, and that's very bad as a people.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. Now, my issue is that even if this stadium don't meet the FIFA criteria or even the CAF criteria, as a point, the Cape Coast Sports Stadium was our go-to place venue for the Black Stars. I mean, it was qualified as unfit to host CAF or international matches, so we have left it. We used to concentrate on the Baba Sports Stadium. It has been declared unfit, and so we've now come to the Accra Sports Stadium, where we have done everything to ensure that
now that's CAF, the only stadium that meets the standard for us.
During the 2008 CAN, we're using the Tamale Sports Stadium. We left it; it's very dilapidated now. And Isipon, like you rightly said. Now, if these structures, indeed, if it is true that they don't meet the CAF criteria, which they do not meet, can't we maintain them, paint them for the local, for the domestic league teams to use here, and let's try and get 2 or 3 for the international matches, just for the Black Stars and the national team assignment. I mean, what is wrong with our thinking?
Bro, the Argentinian national team were in Angola yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the stadium they played that game, but I mean, it's Angola. Brother, let that sink in. Angola, we have been a football nation for as long as I can think of. When Angola can boast of better pitches than us, that is just shocking.
Yeah, go to Kigali here.
That is just shocking. It's just very embarrassing, if you ask me. Because that stadium that Lionel Messi and the Argentinian team played on yesterday is far better than what we have here in the country. And so, look, infrastructure, like I said, is a problem. It's been a problem. It's a cancer for us in this country as a sport, as a nation. It's just really embarrassing what we have in terms of infrastructure. And it's really, really just sad, because and then you look at the money that was allocated. It's just 50 million more than what we are giving to the Black Stars. Okay.
Yeah, and that really had me thinking, because I was like, wow,
it's just 50 million
for the Black
more
Stars
than what we are giving to the Black Stars. So again, what are we doing? What is the mindset? What's the thinking behind it? Because if you're giving 150 million to a team to go participate in a tournament where the prize money for the entire tournament is not nearly half of what you're giving.
No, yeah, okay.
But you'll give just 50 million more to the nation to build stadia, the thing that you need to move your sport forward. It just speaks to your priorities as a nation, and I think we've never had our priorities straight.
But it is in the Ghana currency anyway. If you are listening to us on the Weekend Sports Rally, those figures we quoted are in the Ghana city, not dollars. Ghana 150 million Ghana city. and then 200 million Ghana cedi, not dollars, please. Phil.
Yeah, then the 150 million Ghana cedi converted into US is $13.7 million. 13.7 million.
Just for the Black Stars.
Just for the Black Stars.
And when the other teams complain, we say it's too much.
What I was thinking, I was expecting to hear was about the Queens that qualified for.
Yes.
Yes, but nothing. Anyway.
Maybe they'll see them back though.
Please. the way they treat the Black Stars, we expect them to do same to the other national teams.
And the federations, not just the football people, to the athletics, everybody.
To add to a bit of what you guys have talked about, and I think that that's an area where we have to look at, because if we were talking about the Ghana Premier League shooting up or coming back to where it was before, we need to make sure our pitches are maintained well, where you can travel to anywhere in the country and then enjoy the same kind of game that you do when you come to the Accra Sports Stadium. That is not what we are seeing now. And what I'm seeing is all about politics, because they talk about my government did this, my government came in, we gave this, the previous government didn't do that, and like Nana said, it's all basic, it's standard. As politicians, when you come, you need to know that you need to finance the sports industry. There are certain things that you need to do. So it is basic. They shouldn't make it seem as if they are doing something extraordinary. And making sure that you improve the kind of game that is going, the Premier League or the Ghana football or whatever. These are things that you need to make sure it is done, that the players would play in a league where they would not. Sometimes we even go, we as journalists, we have games that we play on certain pitches, we organize certain games, and you go to certain places and you, after playing, you realize that you are having issues with your back of your leg and other areas of your body because the pitches are not level. Seriously, imagine what the players go through. They would not come and tell or sit out and speak on radio or whatever, but what they are going through, they are really suffering.
And if you speak, you're out. That's the reality.
Exactly. And look at how much they are being paid in a Premier League. Not to even talk of the first division clubs or the first division teams that are playing as well. Look at the pitches they are using. We are even talking about the Premier League. And you've given out 200 million Ghana cedis to build minor or moderate, how did he even term it? Mini stadia.
Why not a mega stadium? Why not a mega stadium?
If you want to do something like they come out to say, my government did this and I want to do this, why don't you build a stadium?
Like a
brand new stadium.
Yeah, like the Hijo Stadium in Cameroon.
Exactly.
Like the new one that the Amaroho Stadium in Rwanda.
Manuel was talking about Angola. I don't want to even compare our country to Angola because they are far ahead.
Talk about Benin. Benin, even just recently they went to Benin.
They had their Independence Day and they invited Argentina. They gave them money. And you know how much they sold their tickets? $1. $1 for everyone to come to the stadium and watch.
Imagine it is here. Look, I'm telling you, you cannot buy the ticket.
You cannot buy. You cannot buy. What are you talking about? They will tell you that Messi is coming to play.
And it was financed by the government too.
Exactly. So that should tell you that we let's all agree that yes, we've not gotten there, but our ministers and whatever, they need to do more. They shouldn't be telling us that yes, the previous government didn't do this, so we are coming to do this and make it politics. Please,
Because
that is what you have to do.
Yeah.
We voted for you to improve things in the country. Just if you are coming to build stadia, and you are telling us that it's a mini stadia or whatever. Meanwhile, we are having the Ghana Premier League, which is going on, and players are suffering. We are having I don't want to mention some of the areas.
No, yeah, don't.
I don't want to mention some of the areas. You and I, we've been to a lot of this Ghana Premier League last season. It was bad.
And I've told you, look, let's be frank. And I have said that there are certain areas when we get there. Look, no matter how prepared you are for commentary, no matter the zeal, when you get there and you see the atmosphere,
you lose confidence.
I'm telling. Look, there's nothing exciting even about the turf for you to even say I'm coming to even do commentary.
Even preparation towards the game. I don't.
Anyway, I mean, those.
It's. But then, if they want to do something for the country, they have to do it well. It's either you do it well or you don't do it at all. Because you cannot tell me that you are giving 150 million to the Black Stars team for a World Cup, and then you use 200 million to build how many stadia? Three. What are you talking about?
Exciting. And let me get back to Zoom where Nana Ajiman is based. Nana, you were speaking before your line fell off. I mean, kindly wrap up for us.
Well, I don't know where I fell off, but I'm back on with Phil, and I support him. You can't build 3 stadiums with $16 million US. How much did we use to finish off the Cape Coast Stadium? To build the Cape Coast Stadium? How much did we use to finish off the University of Ghana Stadium? Way above those figures, even though there's some discrepancies and possible financial infractions with the UG, but impossible. You can't build 3 stadiums with $16 million US. You're going to waste money. You can't build 1 stadium with $16 million. They are going to waste money. Trust me. I see that trap opening up wide for all of them. They're going to fall into it. You know, so as I say, I mean, the whole thing is it's all about fundamentals, my brother. And, you know, if you don't have the structures there, it's very difficult to progress from there. And if you do have the structures, but you don't know how to work it, that also represents a challenge. Now, it can be one or the other, or both. And I would like to say it's both, because some structures are there, but they don't know how to progress the thing. They don't know how to move it forward. And that's why we're grappling with issues all the time. The politicization of the whole thing is something that we need out of our sports totally. And there must be a national development plan for sports that any party coming into power will continue to push that concept forward, and not a party-based subjective view of how we move forward when we don't even have any knowledge about it. You know, I mean, look, it's so unfortunate that people become MPs and then they're put into positions that they have no knowledge about. They limp and grapple with the whole subjects, and they just put together what they think should happen, and it never benefits the nation. We've got to move away from that. We must move away from that and have a national outline, a national objective that any party can come in and solve, because and move forward. Because if we had, you wouldn't have someone jumping up and down and saying we're going to spend 16 million and build 3 mini stadiums. It's impossible. It's impossible. They can't. They can't. I'd advise them not to. They're going to get themselves in trouble. Let me tell you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that brings us to 12:47, and a lot of messages here. But I'll do that when we are about wrapping up, because we are a bit behind in terms of the time. Let's quickly go to Europe. Exciting stuff, and this one, the guys will have a straight bite of it. We are looking at the Euro qualifiers. Portugal fluffed the opportunity to qualify or seal a place for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers as they failed to even get a goal against the Green Boys of Ireland, and they've left it to the last day to see if they can really qualify. And also Cristiano Ronaldo was red carded in that particular game. But good news for the other teams. France make do of what they had in Paris. We also saw Italy beat Moldova. Left it so late to get those 2 goals in that particular game. We also saw England struggle a bit, but at least they managed to unsettle the team they faced at home. Nana, you are leaving us just 1 minute for the foreign, and then I'll get back to the guys in the studio.
Yeah. Well, I think it's all good, to be honest with you. Portugal is struggling. Nothing wrong with that. It's time for review, revamp. Ronaldo is on his way out. Nothing wrong with that too. He served the nation very well. Unfortunate for him to get that red card, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. I like how England are progressing in the qualifiers, and recently...
In fact, for England, they've already qualified.
Exactly, with their 2... And the 2 guys up front who netted the 2 brilliant goals, Saka and Eze.
Eze.
You know, I think things are going over there the way it should. There's 1 or 2 games that have not been predictable, but the competition is still very good. The interest over there is very good. They're on a different level to what we are at, and you know, we should be aspiring to get to that level. I think everything's okay over there. I don't have a problem with what I've seen happening over there. Tough luck for Cristiano Ronaldo. That's all I can say. But here, you know, looking at what's happening with Nigeria and Cameroon and all that, I didn't quite understand that qualification process, but Nigeria don't deserve to be at the World Cup anyway. They're absolutely rubbish. I watched that game. yeah, that's rubbish. They're rubbish. They don't deserve to be there. I hope they don't get past Cameroon, because they've got, you know, they're falling back.
They are taking on the DRC. I mean, Cameroon themselves.
The DRC.
The Cameroon themselves are not that sluggish team that we don't even want to talk about for now.
Yeah. Well, their problem was caused by their man who came back to run football, wasn't it? You know, he's a good guy, Eto'o. But I think a bit of arrogance and I know best and better than everybody else, and that's led Cameroon down a dead-end road. But I like what's happening in the football stratosphere right now. It's all good, all competitive and whatnot. The World Cup's going to look great. AFCON is going to look even greater, because I'm going to be digging into that. We're not going to be there. The Under-17s World Cup is also fantastic. There's a lot of things happening across the globe in terms of football that we are not learning from, and that's the unfortunate part about it.
And especially for Africa, for Africa, where you have almost 9 of the U17 teams qualifying to the knockout stages in a single tournament. That is terrific. Where we are getting ready for the African Cup of Nations in Morocco, and already the hype is beginning to live to the billing with several initiations from CAF and all of that. I think that, but I don't know. Our people serve in CAF, but yet they don't return with what they learn from there. And unfortunately, that's how it is anyway. Anybody you want to say hi to? Because we'll probably...
Well, I'll just say hi to the wife and my sister-in-law and my daughter. When I have to do a Zoom at home, everything comes down on the low. They can't watch TV, they can't do this, they can't do that. So just thank them for bearing with me, and a big hi to them and everyone else out there in Ghana who knows me. I wish you all a good weekend. We've got a lot to learn. We need some humility within the leadership of the Ghana Football Association to climb off their high horse and say, help us to learn, because we will gladly help them to learn.
So those are the wise words of Nana Kwaku Agyeman, the veteran sports journalist leaving us there. Always exciting to have him share some insightful thoughts with us. And that brings me back to the studio. Manuel, let's talk about Europe a bit. Portugal, they have been in the headlines for wrong reasons as far as the qualification is concerned. France and all of that. What do you make? And yesterday I was surprised by Moldova, or Malta instead. They beat Finland by a goal to nil. And Charlie, let's talk about the Euro qualifiers.
Okay, so let me start with Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo, as you all know, my idol. I think it's quite alarming, honestly, with what we are seeing from the Portuguese team, because if we are talking about Portugal winning the World Cup come 2026, for Cristiano Ronaldo's career, and for it to be his glorious end to his long and illustrious career. That the signs we are seeing so far from the Portuguese team are not encouraging at all. If Cristiano Ronaldo is supposed to lift this upcoming World Cup and end his career on a good note, because you can't be struggling against the likes of Ireland and Hungary and expect to go to the World Cup and win it. It's just not good enough. But when you look at the team, it's not a question of quality. They have quality. They've got all the best players. They've got the captains of side. You've got Ruben Diaz, who's the captain at Manchester City. You've got Bruno Fernandes, captain at Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo himself. They've got a lot of quality. So it's not a quality. I look at the.
You've lost the number.
I look at the team and I say